Hello, I'm not a lawyer. This is about justice racketeering of modern nations. This was inherited by our founders, trapped by it. Fact cheating nature slaves. Their identity stolen. They didn't have free speech. Short and layers short of being able to maintain a unity. Not just them, everyone. No one was any kind of a unity, individually grouped or together, unless it's going to be used as a tool by the racketeering method. Line progressions from each formal database relationship of each person individually grouped together with that, each difference with that. This is science's actual course. See, they're using truth. They have each nature of science abridged, and then they start fights, offensively preventing mandated law at the same time. If you're starting a fight about debatable when someone's trying to report sequence shifts, interbranch forging names, switching names, like Mendez police, a whole bunch of people on off Fox Connecticut News and with buildings next to them with racketeering with agencies and with courts and all their family members, everyone tied to them originally and still victim predators. Forgiveness is for this. These are high predators where their racketeering was and is with sequences, was and is with other people's names and with their own and with each identity of each branch of government currently foreign influence. They're preventing counters to the judicial branch, preventing counters to themselves. They're preventing mandated law. You can't sue the judicial branch if the judicial branch is forging names, switching names, and pretending things faked into recorded databases and preventing that from being demonstrated. All we need is recorded. They have been lying about what is actually recorded over Facebook. They have the Facebook page of New Britain Superior Court involved with racketeering with a principal sex offenders campus, further involved with other sex offenders' families, involved with interstates fire departments, also with Russians, also with medical campuses. Now, these are also a whole bunch of how they name stack a whole bunch of people about people I don't even know. They attach you that way. For example, they use crime methods attaching people to fake yelling in context where they're involved with that, where people are needing to yell because of their roles with gun crime methods, wire crime methods, mail crime methods, child abuses, medical, sex, even sexual with the medical offenders, foreign and domestic. These are people with prisons and with their patients and criminals that were involved with criminality with the principal sex offenders campus intercities from on people involved with them racketeering already on off the state judicial branch offices with the WFSB with a whole bunch of people that are involved with database racketeering, sequence shifts, and criminal uses of color. Now, for example, there are impositions upon every nature of city, suburbs, let alone they were involved with the torture and fact cheating nature slavery of our founders, criminally foreign influence zoning laws. Is it no word? There are impositions for that. They're still pretending is about color. There are areas forsaken by a minority that is recorded how maintained criminally foreign influence needing to keep the whole majority, like all along the route that goes by the state judicial branch offices. A Fazina family, a Stocco family married to her, other boyfriends and things like that tied to her, like a Baiano family, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with all kinds of racketeering acts by WFSB. So they don't want to talk about acts, so they pretend that people are making conspiracies. They're being coached to that by people that forge names, switch names. A whole bunch of people in and as a Leahy family with men and women and their kids already involved with racketeering with various natures of courts through time. They're involved with racketeering uses of people associated with the VA, intercities through time. Again, as the people involved with racketeering on and off Fox Connecticut News, in the parking garage next to it, and the policing of it, Thaddeus Grabowski, other federal criminal code defendants of former director of the FBI, racketeering roles with them leading up to and in the Trade Center attack context, and then leading up to and in the 2006 case with defendant former director of the FBI already involved with those people with all other kinds of natures of racketeering against me. And so, no, this has nothing to do with my father's case. They attach me to all kinds of fake conversations about my father through time, as people with the Facebook pages of the campuses also involved with the courts, with human trafficking, attaching me as a kid to and other little kids to fake locations and stuff, fake words, their family members, fake ties to people like a Joshua Julian, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with interbranch foreign and domestic collusion with overt criminal enterprises, spreading lies through kids. WFSB with fake righteous aggression and fake care, juxtaposed misprision criminality, having the kids cover their live progressions because they have prosecutors and they have state's attorneys already involved with criminal uses of that campus through time, as people who would pretend to be the conversations with various natures of courts drug clicks and that were already involved with recorded vertical and horizontal database racketeering with the same campuses intercity they're involved with criminally now. There's a detective Samudo who switched names with a officer Magnanos, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated with a whole bunch of other foreign and domestic police forms with East Hartford, ties, and with Boston and with New York. These are trade center racketeering roles, also with the investigators of it. Now, see, what we have to do is talk about what is actually recorded true all ways. See, these are people that are these are each branch of government. We have predators that went for titles to counter nature's impositions upon everybody that everyone blamed not by accident on the wrong things and on other things and on others, on selves. And this is what American history is really about, countering this racketeering method that is preventing us free speech and pretending not to realize by using tricks, by stealing us to fake locations, stealing us to fake words, and then pretending they're that in other words, they're pretending they want to need to get caught for such overt racketeering because these are people who are also involved with leading up to the trade center, involved racketeering with the Dillon family, also with this Fianza family, with my new and past neighbors, with judges, and with state police and their family members, Weathersfield Police Chief, his daughter, his extended family member, and therefore whatever kids she has in the grammar school of the principal sex offender. They were involved with it criminally. There's a Fred Grisey, also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with that family criminally with girls intercities and with evidence racketeering, mail crime rolls, wire crime clicks, um, drug crime rolls, database racketeering rolls, with people also that live next to the high school but that don't go to it, that are also involved with lifting FBI people on off the FBI building, people associated with the campuses further criminally, like a whole bunch of people tied to the Del Fair family, and like they have one or two sisters associated with. There's officer Chris White, and a whole his family associated with people on off the Fox Connecticut News racketeering, the buildings next to them. These are database racketeering medical clicks with real sick punk fakes, and then they pretend that other people have mental diagnosis, so they can pretend not to realize that they don't have conversations with people. So they're preventing people from making police reports by attaching them to fake conversations and relationships to people leading up to the Trade Center attack, contacts in it. New York City, there's a Fred Grisey with Staten Island, and there are people associated with various networks involved with racketeering, also foreign and domestic military, like Kuwaiti military, deans and their family members involved with racketeering right through the Obama administration. You know, in other words, they want to have a debate, and they want to use words like debate and argument because they're preventing free speech as 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 bullies with not bullies. They don't have the courage of a bully. The branches of government and our military. We have only sick fakes, identity theft clicks. Now we need the response for them because they want to speak through they have made confessions to these people that sought me out with it in the past, but now it's relevant because they're further. I've been asking in a straight line since before the Trade Center attack to report the recorded, confessed, and demonstrated since further and further. So I understand it greatly now. Their roles with criminal uses of Hartford courts New Britain courts, their police forms, where they're trying to perceive and investigate things criminally to hide their roles with the racketeering they're trying to investigate against. These are people involved with overt criminal enterprises and private ones originally still in collusion. No, so we have a bunch of people that pretend, oh, they're prejudiced and stuff like that as military, but they're really in collusion with like the Kuwaiti military, uses of Saudi families. They're just trying to do equal business, all these nations. And that equal business involves a whole bunch of private that you can't defend and yourselves from free speech at the same time with science in its hand. They each understand. So we have CNN reported, confessed, and demonstrated involved with racketeering that came right through administrations, not just the Obama administration, every administration that is associated with and as criminal uses of Trinity College and of CCSU from off the colleges, but then maintain on off it. See, they're ducking. That's why we have to counter the forging names and switching names, and the from off campuses racketeering. A whole bunch of people interbranch from my town, military, foreign and domestic. Again, overt criminal enterprises, private ones involved with evidence racketeering, mail crimes, clicks, identity racketeering with people on along Farmington Avenue. Where the Harriet Beecher Stowe house in the Mark Twain houses. Harriet Beecher Stowe is famous for Uncle Tom, the phrase. No. And their houses are right there where they have that involved. Down the street from that is a place associated with Robert Cheverie, who was a lawyer in a 2006 case where lawyers and police forms and judges are involved with them criminally leading up to that. With Connecticut's uses as racketeering roles, also with the investigators of the Trade Center attack. Further, with Trade Center predicate acts, with child sex offenders cliques, and with the families of those child sex offenders further involved with racketeering through time. A whole bunch of people associated with it, Weathersfield Community Center, also recorded, confessed, involved with the foreign and domestic medical and database racketeering in the intelligence community, and the sources of Fox Connecticut News, of WFSB. Those are people, and also racketeering uses of downtown Hartford for identity thefts, roles with racketeering with the Justice Department clicks, and what Washington D.C. Pentagon originally still. You can't look at the look at elderly homes, poverty, the way the design of what's actually their impositions upon that, and the VA people stacking that big powerful building, but people stacking. Now, oh, you're in the elderly home now. The meal's going to come out this time. That's the best for your health. Shut up. Now, seriously, that's worse than that. So that just, you know what I'm saying? That we never had free speech in science. So this is important to understand that, and how WFSB and Fox Connecticut News have states and areas recorded in collusion, criminal uses and crime uses of roles with the uses of on and off the state judicial branch offices, on and off the state prison offices, criminally through time. I just remind. So a whole bunch of people tied to a Joe DeMoro, who used to hang around with my neighbor, and he used to hang around with their extended family members, and they pretended to know me because they were pretending I was friends. They're pretending they need to pretend to perceive things because New Britain Superior Court is involved with racketeering, with CCSU involved with child campuses through time, like with a Pruzzi family and a former Mayor Gold. These are people also racketeering cliques with forensics locations and with the shared policing of the stores, with their family members also involved with them, with sexual circles, with overt criminal enterprises, and with private, with undercover, where they actually have mail crimes, wire crimes, identity racketeering, identity theft, sequence shifts. They're kept needing to hide the same sequence shifts, finite lies, active lies, progressive lies, and identity racketeering lies. That's tied to where they have debate and the word slash value, like debate, like argument, used like logic, where we have the originally instilled the experts on logic, delusions wrought and criminally foreign influence, and involved with racketeering, exploiting anomaly, where interbranch is told not to speak about medical information. So they have that anomaly where they're forging names, switching names, faking whole detailed fake conversations in collusion with what is actually going on through time. The sickest crimes in Wethersfield all have connections to the Wethersfield police chief who 1 years ago involved with racketeering with the child sex offenders clique, with untimely death clique, untimely deaths context used criminally also by them on off Trinity College, on off CCSU. These are also people, recorded through time. I just remind they're incapable of defending us, and so every time they speak, free speech. Men, you pretend that using an election is the truth. Oh, we have to have elections. We said it's going to be on now. You stop to hit the brakes. You still have, you have the Obama administration. How are you going to have pretend any of these people, especially the prosecutors? The prosecutors throughout the country are reported sicker than just in collusion with it. That's a value needing us. We need to say that's not right to treat immigrants like that. But simultaneously, and before that, we needed to say that about here. But we have what's pretended political and what's pretended counters to political that are child abused by this fact treatment nature racketeering that is completely identity racketeering. We have vertical and horizontal database racketeering roles that keeps originally and still everyone criminally foreign influenced. That's why we have the same people involved with downtown Hartford criminal uses as ones involved with criminal uses of on and off the clubs around Yale College, Yale University, whatever. These are the same people involved with racketeering with the fire department next to Trinity College and with houses next to it. As ones from my town involved again with racketeering with people on off the state judicial branch office, on off state prison offices, and with their family members, and as black and white women, judges involved with child sex offenders campus further criminally through time, sequence shifts. They have people that are men that were first involved with this. I barely know him. Recorded, confessed, and demonstrated. Mike Roberts and a kid who was black. I don't know his name. I never had a conversation with him. Tied to a house with a Spada family with the Wethersfield High School and houses next to it with people who went to private schools who were involved with racketeering with the databases at the private schools connected. And these are people with like sociology, with psychology, and people with badges and involved like going against drugs. But they're used to further in this way because they're using everything to hide their life aggressions. They already have sick value treatments with every where every fact treatment nature they made formally as identities of law originally instilled. So we need free speech, and you need to understand how they are coaching and criminally influencing online platforms to pretend sensibilities in relationship to an algorithm. When I'm not trying to report overall things, I'm trying to report actual crime acts. And these people are stacking. These are people who are involved with database racketeering since before there were computers. That's why they have people overtly stealing my identity online, overtly recorded, confessed sexual crime acts, medical crime acts, uses of the New Britain Superior Court Facebook page with a principal sex offender intercities. This is Wethersfield, on and off the state judicial branch offices with them. Retired and standing judges through time involved with child trafficking that way, with WFSB as their sources. A whole bunch of people training next to it as a Rocky Hill Athletic Center, a Big Y, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with criminal uses of the intelligence community on and off Trinity College. Confessions tied to that. On and off CCSU, confessions tied to that. Now they have confessions from off campus because they have off campus maintained originally and still on and off campus collusion with this criminally foreign influence states and areas. used by interbranch lie progressions needed to keep each age of fact sheet nature hurt. This is another nature of child abuse, maintain self-value, their kids' roles. They have prosecutors recorded, confessed, and demonstrated using their kids to hide their roles with database racketeering when they were little. Women prosecutors, male prosecutors, judges retired and standing, state's attorneys, private attorneys used for crime methods where they have crime methods with the areas because they needed to hide lie progressions. They need to hide actually record the uses of kids, and then for the effects of that, like an O'Brien family, a whole bunch of people with the departments at CCSU recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved racketeering with an O'Brien family and an Abruzzi family, with and then with people in grammar school and middle school, and those people in grammar and middle school pretended they knew me in grammar school. I had nothing to do with them. And I noted the exception about Joe DeMauro. Now, he's also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with Italy and with other nations, involved with his family, with like him and his brothers and his cousins, involved with sexual circles and people associated with DACA. They recorded and with overt criminal enterprises and with private policing of stores and stuff like that. And people all along routes, like the route of the South State Highway, all the way into Weathersfield, then all the way into Hartford, through Weathersfield Avenue, involved with them with racketeering, with evidence of judges retired and standing. Again, all that I mentioned. Also, as people all along Walker Hill Road involved with racketeering with them. Also, as people all along the Berlin Turnpike, and at the end of it, there's a Cedar Hill Cemetery that a Joey Quest and that a Fred Grisey. Those people that sought me out to make confessions, demonstrated their roles, didn't even go to my school. They're involved with database racketeering with houses that live next to the schools, connected, and uses of that connected. Now, these are people involved with racketeering with former director of the FBI's co-defendants and their family members and persons, and a whole bunch of other federal criminals tied to them. And so they keep everyone need to hide lie progressions. These are also racketeering acts and roles and uses of black and white, KKK themed, Confederate flag themed military police, recorded involved with racketeering acts with Trade Center Predicate Act clicks and as the investigators of it. MPO Floyd with Eastern States Narcotic Drug Task Force, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with various natures of racketeering drug crimes with child sex offenders in my area. Now, and he's involved with drug crimes and pretending to be against it at the same time, though. See, this is a breaching screens and tools. Then they forge names, switch names, use wire crime, mail crime methods. They're using child offenders because they need to pretend lies about people. When I speak on YouTube, when someone speaks on YouTube, you know how many things they need to hide? They're pretending that it's legitimately. Oh, we won an election. We have some, we know that some things are what they call classified. You're out of your minds. Originally, still free speech. Get off my fake. Get off your fake news. You're not trying to hide anything because you attach me to fake words. WFSB. Your sources are recorded, confessed, and demonstrated with a whole bunch of people from my town with Rocky Hill, your location involved with you there, criminally locations next to it, all along that route. You use Bubba Watson. You shouldn't be. You guys are forcing sustained crimes where you're covering up and you're adapting for what you had no right for, rights for originally. Still, we have people see. Look at California. That's what people are coming in to sustain, looked away from. The people that are pretending to be about the immigrant streams, they need that self-valued in California. They need the real causes of it, and it's self-valued. What's keeping that the outcome? Blamed on other things other than self, a racketeering method. We have criminally foreign influenced FBI through administrations involved with the transition from ACA to RICO, involved with the child sex offenders cliques here, also involved with the House/S in my area, involved with the new and past police chief, fire departments, fire inspectors retired and standing. How many of those there are? We have, no, everyone's hiding behind identity in relationship to everyone letting psychology think for them. Their delusions rot. Now fix the sequence, fix the finite lies, the active lies, the progressive lies, and the rest of the identity racketeering and slavery of me and of my ability to work. This is worse than just extortion and torture, no. And prevention of free speech by WFSP, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with racketeering with and as sources of CNN, also involved with internation racketeering with elections, uses of such values where they're talking about counters to and fake things with fake counters to war, things like wars and stuff like that. Those suits and ties are sick. Fake branches stick. You break. You fall. Yeah. Well, respond. Someone respond for them. They have their coaching Weathersfield parents to hide the racketeering they had then and now further with the principal sex offenders campus and with further on off the other campuses tied to houses associated with that, associated with Russian families, with the intelligence community. They're not trying to hide that because they never had a conversation with me. So they need to pretend I'm talking about some fake thing on paper. I only know about that because of this. These are whole groups they have involved with sequence racketeering. They also have trails, the blue trail with all that stuff involved with them also as the ones involved with the racketeering next to the schools connected with racketeering acts and uses of their natures actually recorded, like people around the Samuel Dix house with foreign and domestic military, with involved with mail crime clicks, wire crime, drug crime rolls with this MPO Floyd, with this Jostic Levinskis, his wife Lucinda, involved with database racketeering, people on and off CCSU through time, involved with judges criminally with them, people on and off religious spots as them, criminally involved, on and off web school, involved with further uh, people associated with FBI criminally with acts with them, with evidences in inside the Trade Center attack context and since with the investigators. So they were also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated with the on and off campuses CCSU racketeering as people involved with the child care. In other words, I never had a class with Jessica Vinces. I only know him from confessions too. No, as strangers involved with my new and past neighbors clique with judges and state police and FBI and overt criminal enterprises and the stewards of the witness protection program, all with tied crime acts / illusions, uses of the area and of my name, as people also with that recorded, confessed, demonstrated dozens of names. Every campus I went to, even if they didn't go there, it's recorded anyway.